Good morning to all my brothers and sisters out there. I hope you done woke up and you done praise God, you done drink your coffee and smoke whatever you normally do in the morning time. I'm your host, Clayton Arline, and that's about real talk. And it's one of the things that I want to be able to discuss with you, and whether you want to believe it or not, black women are some of the most educated people in the United States. And I know most people will sit up there, and especially if you're the other side, white people might say, oh no, I don't know where you get your literature, but when you look at statistics, that's based on facts. Black women are not being paid equally, even though they are the most educated. But I'm not going to get into to argue with you. I just want we're going to talk about this, whether you agree or disagree. Please, if you got any comments and stuff like that, follow me on my channels, and I'm coming up with some facts every day. Black women in the United States are among, remember what I'm saying, among the most educated demographic groups, yet they remain significant underpaid compared to their peers. Now, I'm going to break these facts down to you, and if you are conditioned to think a certain way, if you're on the other side, or whether your race or your religion, your sex or your national origin, well, you're going to have your own personal opinion about what I'm saying, but the facts don't lie. But when you are conditioned to think a certain way, no matter whether the facts are good or bad, you believe what you believe. And no matter what it is, we need to reprogram you to understand reason why I'm saying black women are some of the most educated women in the world. And black women have made extraordinary gain in education over the past decade. I mean, we are striving to be the best of the best, but we are not being recognized for what we do. And these are the things that, for me, it is imperative that we discuss these things. And nearly 4 times as many black women earned bachelor degrees in 2021 to 2022 compared to 1976 and 1977. Now, did you hear what the statistic just said? Nearly 4 times as many black women earn bachelor degrees, these days than way back before. So that be able to, if you can understand, it tells you there has been significant improvement in black women's education. And they now represent one of the fastest growing groups of college educators, adults in the United States labor force. But while we are not talking about this, while we are going to let racism destroy our mind and the way you think, the only way that most people, whether you're black or white, but this is not about black or white, it's about facts. White women or white men, I'm not saying all, they think less of black people. They think that they are dirt, they are nasty, they are uneducated, they can't speak. This is how they are conditioned to think. Black people just steal, rob, and kill. That is a condition that they've been programmed to think. And when I get into this subject, but I'm talking about black education, black women's education. I mean, when you look at the labor forces and how it is designed, and I hope that you can understand the cause and the effect of why are they being underpaid or unrecognized as their peer part. Now, are we going to talk real talk, or are we just going to sit up here and try to argue among groups? This is not about argument, it's about facts. About despite these achievements that these black women have made, the wage gap remains, it's stalling. How these white men and white girls just getting out of high school are making more than our educator. And I don't want to get personal, but I'm going to get personal. It's because the way the systematic system is set up. the blacks only going to get to a certain level. They're going to be at a certain pay grade. The white man going to always feel that I'm smarter than they're under me. That's the condition. That's the way they are programmed to think instead of dealing with reality. They rather throw up a defense and say, no, that's not the way it works. But all you got to do is look at the labor force. Educational level. Who in charge of who? Whether they be the most qualified or the best qualified, is the way the system is designed, is to make black women or black people to feel inferior, and those above you program to think that they are superior. But we need to reprogram your mind and to accept facts. Black women work full-time job year-round. They earn 69 cents for every dollar paid to the white, non-Hispanic men's. Is this facts or what? All you got to do is go do your research. Black women work full-time, year-round, earn 69 cents for every dollar paid to whites, non-Hispanic. Okay, why? That's my question. Put your defense down. Why? Because racism is a sickness until death. When people are conditioned to think a certain way, even if it's wrong, they are conditioned to think that black people are slaves. Not all white people feel that way, but these white supremacists, these white governors in these states and cities, they are conditioned because of the environment that they grew up in. They are conditioned to think that black people cannot be trusted. They are some of the worst peoples in the world. As I said, not all white people think that, but the way the system is working, black women are very educated, accepted or rejected. Some of the most educated women in America. And I know a lot of white women is going to say, oh boy, you better get out of here with that shit. Oh no, can't stand the heat. All you got to do is look on the fact. When part-time and part-year workers are introduced, that drops to 66.5%. You understand what I just said? Maybe, wait a minute. I just need to all of you all out there listening to me, and not hearing what I'm saying. I'm speaking about facts. When part-times and part-year workers are introduced, that drops to about 66.5. You see what I'm saying? Well, hey, if you can't stand the facts, I'm sorry. But these are the things that we need to discuss. Even with a graduate degree, black women earn less than white men with lower education level. You understand how the system is set up, how the white people tend to stick together on policies and procedures. We only going to promote black or non-blacks at a certain level. They cannot achieve above that level unless the white counterpart is over them. So you understand how the system of injustice is set up. Even with a graduate degree, black women earn less than white men with lower educational level A. They got a level A, there's a level B. Black women, you're going to be at level B. Whites, you're going to be at level A. That means you're going to be higher. That means that peoples cannot accept facts. I'm presenting facts over a lifetime, and these are things that we need to talk about. The wage gap can cost a black woman nearly $900,000 in lost income. Is that a fact? Or is that just friction? Let me read it again. Over a lifetime, the wage gap can cost a Black woman nearly $900,000 in lost income. That's real deal. I'm glad that I'm able to talk about this discussion when most people say, man, let's talk about something else. We talking about the world economic and how the system of injustice working against Black women. Not only Black women, I'm just talking about Black women in general at this time. But and my next one is going to be evolved around Black men. But I'm focusing on how Black women are the most educated women in the country. Now, again, and you might want to say to yourself and say, why that gap persists? Why? Well, most people probably don't want to know why. People don't like to face facts. They rather face fiction. But me, myself, and I, if I'm going to speak on a subject, it's about facts. I want these facts to be recognized. And then as soon as I make you understand the importance and to understand how Black women are being treated in the workforce, in the labor forces. And you got to look at too, and we talk about that job gap, persistent job segregation. Well, what do you mean? Black women are overrepresented in lower paying industry, underrepresented. I mean, come on, guys. Why? The question is why? And you got to come up with one thing. Racism in these factories, in these large federal government is controlled by white men who always trying to manipulate the system, who's always trying to steal, rob, and kill other people. These are facts. Workforce discrimination. You know it's right there. You know it's there. You're going to make the Black man feel inferior all throughout the workforce. As long as you know that he's trying to work and take care of his family, but the fact is that you use this form of fear and intimidation to calm them down. But that's not the way the world should be operated. It should be operated on true facts. And understand that we're not asking for nothing no more than you would ask for. But because you are conditioned to think that Black people is not smart. That's the mindset that you have. And we're talking about workforce discrimination, bias, and hiring. They rather hire a white man with no education over a Black woman that has education. This is the way the system is set. And they would set up a system where it would be stacked against a Black person. It's the way that these companies are writing their rules of their own, but it's to protect them. Oh, we have non-discrimination policy. Oh, that look good on paper. That look very good on paper. But actions speak louder than words. And we talk about bias in hiring and promotion and pay practice. All you got to do is look at it. Most people are not going to tell you your counterpart, even though they're working up under you, but have you looked at their pay scale? Because that's something that they won't expose. And you find out that their buddies or their uncles and aunts making more money than you, and they have a less paying job. I need you to understand why it is important for us to discuss this. Because if we don't discuss it, it gets swept right up under the rug like everything else being swept under the rug. We're talking about devaluation of labor. I mean, when you look at the system of this, roles often held by Black women caregivers, and educators are unevaluated economically. Why? These are the questions that people don't have an answer for, but they always got a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. They rather talk about everything else, but talk about what is right, what is wrong. They will assume that Black women are stupid, ignorant, they dumb, they uneducated. They feel the same way about men. But we need to be aware. We need to advocate and put this out. But there is a lot of things that is controlled by this Trump media that is destroying this world. They continue to degrade Black women. Why? Because when you got a racist supremacy that running this country, this is what you're going to get. When you got a white man can't even talk correctly and going to degrade every Black person, come on, oh, look at they unintelligent. They did, they that. But when you don't look at yourself, because when you got position of power, you feel like you can say whatever you want to say. But notice, when the Black people talk about President Trump, let's have him locked up. Let's have him investigated. Do you understand how the system works? When I say to you, what is the bottom line about this conversation? What are you trying to get at, Clayton? I'm getting to the facts. I'm getting to the things that need to be recognized and be brought to the forefront. Black women, and this is why the bottom line, Black women are breaking barriers in education, but are still systematically denied equal pay. It's not just unfair, it's economically devastating. And this is a very interesting subject I am passionate about. I fear nothing. I don't fear nobody. But the facts is the facts. And what I'm saying to all my brothers and sisters, look at what's going on around you. Black people are being degraded by this white supremacy that running this White House. We got to stand up for what we believe in and stop falling for a lot of this bullshit and stop living under the fear of an intimidation by this mega group. Yes, I'm getting emotionally because things was going good in the past for all Black people. Things have changed for the better for Black people. But now the range administration, all that we have worked it for, these clowns is trying to take it from them. They taking Social Security, health benefit, veterans health, age, things that Black people live for. But when you have a person that is mentally ill and has a serious sickness, and the white mega is setting up here following this man when it's going to affect their life. They rather work under the hands of an authoritarian white supremacy than to protect the peoples in their state. I'm talking about real talk. I'm talking about what things are happening. Is the way this administration is running, they cutting all the Black colleges and universities, the historical things that we have worked it hard for. And we supposed to set back, we supposed to give this clown a bear hug. For me, if I gave his ass a bear hug, it may not come out the way he think is a loving. People, you must admit, racism in this country has become an all-time high since January 20th. This man that we call, no, that you call your God is destroying America. I'm going to say to all my Black minority people, look what is yet to come, because we have a deranged administration. And look, and I need for everybody to be aware. You notice, we know that President Trump is a white supremacist by all the things that he's doing. He's trying to take us back to slavery. But we're supposed to be dumb, stupid, and not to realize what he's trying to accomplish. I need you to be aware that all these black governor states, those are the one he's targeting. Washington, D.C. There's nothing wrong with Washington, D.C. It is his way of trying to take over D.C. And he tried to use federal and state power under his control because he's the commander in chief. Whether it's right or wrong, you're going to do what I say. We all know that the man have a mental illness, but we are in denial. We rather risk this country for one man. Why? Because when you are afraid, when you're afraid of a man, you're not afraid of God because you're afraid of man. I'm putting the facts out there. What are you afraid of? Republican governors? What are we afraid? We rather lie, cheat, and steal and die for one man than to protect your state, cities, and federal government. I'm putting facts out there. Look at the state that he's targeting. Anybody that done voted against him or anybody that done found him guilty, those are the one he's going after. This is a payback. Our system and justice is being robbed right in front of us. Our democracy are being robbed right in front of us under a deranged man. He have control over the Supreme Court. When you cannot trust the Supreme Court, who can you trust? Because everybody is bowing down to this clown. I'm calling it the way it is. Look at the next state. He always going to the Democratic state. Oh, they are calling me. Oh, DC. Oh, they've been calling me and say, thank you, President. Thank you. We can go out to eat now. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Washington, D.C. Even though the crime rate have dropped significantly, but this is a psychological and a mental thing that he's telling the people. Yeah, I'm on my horses now because I'm letting people know that racism is at its all-time high. Crime is at its all-time high. White supremacy at its all-time high. Police brutality at its all-time high. ISIS at its all-time high. What do you expect when you have a deranged person? Nobody does anything unless he know about it. He will get on TV. He will lie about everything. Oh, I don't know anything about it. But when you're knowing that this man is lying, nothing goes under without him knowing about it. This is a wannabe dictator and destroying America. White mega. When are we going to look at reality? What have you accomplished since President Trump been in there? The only thing that president is doing, he's trying to destroy the black race, brown races. This is what his main objective is to try to make this all a white America. And I'm stop denying it. President Trump is not for the minority. He is only for the white supremacy, those billionaires, those one who got him into office. But I will say this. Fear not. Fear not of what is going place. Now, I want you to follow the line. How can you go after people that you be done voted against you when you done got 34 felonies? Everything that you done came up on is lying. But you want to go after people saying, well, they lied on oath, when you got the most pathologic liar in the country that's running this country. Black people, brown people, wake up and see what's going on. We got to fight for each other. We got to stand up for our freedom together. We cannot allow this clown and this deranged administration to kill us off. And the main objective for what President Trump and his administration is doing is to put us under their control by using federal agents, the ISIS. You all do what y'all. He done signed executive orders. These clowns is authorized to do what they want to do. because we are making this country into capitalism, authoritarian. Wake up, America. Don't be blind to what's happening. President Trump is working under Putin control. He's working on an authoritarian regime. Are we blind? Are we stupid? We cannot see what is happening. Everything is secret between his intelligence committee. Everything is, you name it. They are not following the law. They following what President Trump telling them is to put people in fear. That's the main objective. Next state I'm going to. People are calling me up saying, President Trump, can you come to Chicago? We need you. They calling him up. His phone is blowing up. Do you believe that? Look, people, when you're a pathologic liar, when you got peoples or your mega people believe everything that you say, and they in their heart, they don't see what you're saying, but because you are our God, we got to believe you. Yeah, I want you to observe, people, how racism is at its all-time high. Look at Supreme Court. Look at the legislature. Look at the Secretary of Defense. Look at all the cabinet members. They are working under the authority of President Trump. They don't do anything unless they coordinate it through President Trump. But he would get on national TV and lie and say, I don't know what they're doing. President Trump. Everybody, listen what I'm saying. He's saying 1,000 people has been calling him up. His friends in Washington, D.C., thank you, President Trump. Man, you are great. When all these peoples got these restaurants, it's closing down because they done lost business. You see how the media can convince you that this is happening and that is happening when it's all false BS. Wake up, America. We are at our worst moment under the authority under this new administration. This is going to affect white people, black people, but particularly minority people. Do you believe all these phone calls saying the streets are much safer when people drop? They don't go out as much. But when you hear what he's saying, people in Chicago calling me up. President Trump, can you please come to Chicago? Can you please come to Maryland? That is a bunch of BS. This is the way that he can manipulate the public and tell the public what they want to hear. But the facts is not there. I'm saying to America, we must stick together. President Trump is selling America out. Whether you want to accept this mega or non-mega. I have the ability, and I have the knowledge, I have the skills, and I have the understanding of what's going on around me, but I need to make sure that you are aware of what's going down as to how he's trying to kill our black race, how he's trying to destroy our black history, how he's trying to destroy our educational institution and university, how all of our restaurants, anything that got to do with blacks, he wants to destroy. But I'm going to close this out by saying this. Why are he not going into these red states where all the major crimes are happening? All the red state governors, where you look at it, that's where the crimes are at. Not in these small. These are a way of letting minority know that I'm in control. I write executive orders. I do what I want, and ain't nothing that you can do about it. And you white Republicans, why are you afraid? If you know something is wrong, why would you vote with it? Why? Are you afraid? Are you protecting your own ass? Because I know President Trump, when we need money, he's going to take care of our red state first. So I'd rather go against what is right, what is wrong. People, we are dealing with a racist and a sick society. This is about real talk. Until you and I, notice what I say, between all of us, and I'm going to use the word to all of us, God children, we are all brothers and sisters in God's eye. Who eye is the most important? Man eye or God eye? You rather go against God for man. You rather go against right to be wrong. How are you going to leave this world? How are you going to teach your kids how to be honest? How are you going to teach your kids about integrity? When you're at the top, you rather punish people at a lower level when you are the problem. You are the cause and the effect at the top. But you don't see that because money and power and manipulation is what's about to happen. Black men's, black women, minority. You better stand up. Don't let a form of fear stop you from speaking up. Their main objective is to keep you silent by using federal and state and local police when all of those guys working under the hands of a Republican state governor. They better think like President Trump. They better do the thing like President Trump. And if they don't do what he say do, I'm going to cut their funding. Notice where all the funding going to the red state. Notice where all the funding being cut on the Democratic state. Look what the people that is going to affect the most. Black people, minority people. You better stand up. I'm tired of sitting back and doing nothing. And I hope that you are able to share this message. It's not about me. It's about facts. Whenever I present something to you, you can believe it's not fabrication. It's about facts. It's about fact that black women are some of the most educated, but they're fact they are the one that's being underpaid the most. Is that fact? Are you going to sit up there and admit it? Are you going to sit up there and admit that we have a racial issue in our labor forces and we have a bigger issue in our labor force because executive orders signed by a deranged president? I said I wasn't going to get emotional, but I ain't promised you nothing because when the blood pressure starts flowing and the facts is there, I'm going to present nothing but facts. And I'm going to say this, what Martin Luther King said. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. But if you can understand that all men are created equal, so why are we being treated unequal? Because white men have came into this world and have stole everything. But guess what? They won't admit it. They won't admit what they're doing to the black people, what they've done over the years, how they destroy these countries, how they cut these babies out. They won't admit it, but that's in the past. How can we forget about the past when everything in the past is getting ready to become to the future if we don't stand up? My brothers and sisters, I'm going to say this to you. Whether you white, green, black, or purple, whatever color or whatever religion, whatever, sex you are. If you say you're a child of God, but you haven't read your Bible, you don't know nothing about it. You're just going by what man said. You take this message if you don't take nothing else. we are being denied. We are being criticized. We being demoted. But it's one thing that your white supremacists can't take from us. You cannot take the belief in what God. We have been here because our faith in God. You need to change your wicked ways and try to destroy that evil ways and understand that you are not a child of God if you're trying to kill your brothers and sisters. That's real talk. If nothing else, I want to close out. It's about real talk. By saying this prayer. Every morning that you wake up, you need to thank God that you woke up. You need to thank God that he protected you from your enemies while you were sleeping, while you was in the house with your family. But we don't think about that. You need to thank God for giving you the breath of air. You need to thank God for those psychological and physiological needs that you have, the food, the water, the clothing, and the shelter. But you rather spend time on evilness than to thank God for his grace and his mercy. Guess what? This is about real talk. You need to put God first. Don't fear man. But when you fear God, that is the beginning of salvation. When you understand what the Bible said, but if you don't read it, I guess you won't never understand it. It's been written over 365 times. The word, fear not, no man. You fear me, God, and God alone. I am the one who's going to protect you through your trials and tribulations. But I need you to have faith, hope, and trust in me, because whatever I said that I will do, I don't lie, cheat, and steal. My words is still the same yesterday, today, and forever. To all my brothers and sisters, brother, you, whatever race you are, I consider you and my brothers and my sisters. I cannot let be blindfolded by evildoers that turn against God, to turn against my brothers and sisters. Pray hard. We got to do it together. I hope you enjoy this and I hope you share it. In Jesus' name, to all my brothers and sisters, I pray. Amen.